Hello and welcome to a slightly different video than normal. One I think we've been meaning to do for quite some time now.
And we get asked all the time, what tools do you carry on the road? I think maybe you just want to be nosy, or maybe you wonder how much can you actually fit inside a camper van that size.
I mean, who doesn't want to nose behind the curtain?
And we do have a reputation for needing a lot of tools. So you might wonder, what do you actually carry with you?
What is it you need to live full time on the road in a classic Volkswagen? Well, today you guys are going to find out.
As you can see, we carry a lot more than your average VW owner. Bet you didn't think we could fit all this in the camper van. So let's start with the basics, and the first thing we got. So this is what we left England with. We basically left with this toolbox here and this box here. And everything else is accumulated. So this toolbox is great because it's all for our sizes. There's no imperial stuff. It all works on our van, and we have rebuilt gearbox parts, engines, the whole thing. You pretty much just need this. So yeah, it's a bit chunky, but it basically covers all of the tools you need.
Got a question.
What?
Miss Rolf. There seems to be something missing there.
Who can guess what size it is?
Guess what size is missing from our toolbox and win appreciation.
And you can send me a new one. That's what you win. Because I can't find one that's got the ratchet in it, and I refuse to have a mismatched set of tools because I can't handle it. You might also notice we have a few extras that don't come in this kit, but they live in this kit, and that's for specific jobs. Like if you own a VW, you're going to need one of these for your drive shaft. So we have a few gearbox specific things, but generally speaking that's pretty universal. This was the other box that we left with, which has become more and more full over the years, and it has, I mean, we could go through it all, but basically it's got things like files, hose clamps, we have a selection of screwdrivers, we have, you definitely need mole grips, solder, glue, a saw, all of those kind of things. And then we have a few things that are very, very specific when we had to do something like rebuild our clutch housing. So we have Loctite that's just for that.
Can you show people my favourite saw? Because that thing has been a lifesaver.
So maybe if I was going to say like what stuff in this you really need, because some of this is like, okay, how many times in the trip are you going to lap in your valves? Hopefully literally never. So, and I bet anybody who works on cars has got a tub of this in their workshop that they bought once.
What about cat?
Don't forget your cat. Make sure you pack it in the box. Are you helping? Oh, I got a big purr. Go help over there. So what would you say are your
Bluey?
must-haves? Bluey, this thing, this has saved our bacon more times than I care to admit.
If you read our book, this is the same hacksaw that I had to saw the pipe apart in Scotland in the rain, in the wind, in the cold.
We cut through our steering box with this. We have done a lot of stuff, and what's really great about it is while it is not the most amazingly easy saw to use, you can get that in anywhere. So I recommend pad saw. That's a definite must-have. I think you've got to have mole grips. That's not negotiable. Pliers, a couple of screwdrivers, and the like. And yeah, you can do a close-up and everybody can just see what it is. Other must-haves, I think, okay, you gotta have your favourite tool.
Smash it!
Hits it hard. Gotta have a hammer. You gotta have a jack, and we've recently bought these. Actually, I'm quite proud of these. Look at this.
So we've given up on the Mexican, put it on a breeze block.
Yeah, we've actually got folding axle stands, and yes, they do support the weight of the car, and no, they haven't collapsed yet, so they do work. You just have to make sure obviously it's on something pretty level, because they might not be as 100% secure as your average ones, but you can carry them in a camper because a normal axle stand is so like bulky, so I like them. And pretty soon into our trip, we realised that you need this. Why do we need this so much?
Oh, because we take our wheels off a lot.
And who puts them back on?
Idiots.
Idiots with air guns. So the amount of times, I mean, yeah, you might need this to crack your wheels anyway, but here you really need this, and then you need a tube this long because there's some idiot with an air gun putting your wheel back on. So we pretty quickly got one of those. Another unknown tool to the Latin Americans in general, probably. And I've even said this to them and they agree with me, so you can't say it's offensive. It's a torque wrench, because they do not use torque wrenches at all. And in my book, if it rotates, it gets torqued. But not here. So those are pretty useful. We got a drill, again, stuff always falls off and you got to fix it back on. And this is the box of bits.
Everyone needs a box of bits.
Electrical connectors and Jubilee kits and bolts and washers, and all of the bits are all in the bit box.
Let's have a close up. What's the most useful thing in your box bit?
In my box bit, in this bit. I don't know, because we need all of it so regularly.
Just bolts in general?
Oh no, I do know.
Oh, little blue screwdriver.
This beaten up thing, but it's the only size that you can use to undo electrical connectors and remove the like terminals from in the plastic housing. This is my favourite. Yeah. Moving on from tools, because this is technically mainly not tools, this is the spare part box. So when we left England, what did we have on us for spare parts? What did we bring?
Clutch cable.
Anything else?
No.
I think you're right. I think we literally brought a clutch cable. Clutch cable. This is not the same spare clutch cable. This is like mark number 10 or so, because they do very, very, very regularly break. So we always carry a spare clutch cable. But now we have branched out and we carry many more things. We have these.
Oh, I know that.
What is it?
It's a gasket.
For?
Inlet.
Yay! You check out my teaching skills here, man. This is impressive. We have spare hose for our shocks, airline, assorted things, that tubes and pipes and bits. We have a whole bunch of other cables in case another cable breaks, so they don't have a spare cable. And then I have this cable, and then I use the bit box to fit this cable to the other cable, and then we go. Right? We have spare brakes, springs, we have, this is all like spare gaskets and washers for the Subaru. Gonna just make a pile. We cut off our bump stops.
Need to put them back on one day.
Someone told me not to, so I cut it off. So there. Because we adjusted the front beam, that's why we chopped them off. We're not in the habit of chopping off bits that actually aren't falling off for once. And then we have, oh baby, what's this?
We used that when we refitted the pistons.
Yeah, this is a tool. So that's if you need to, you know, completely rebuild your engine. I got us covered. Bit of spare electrical conduit. Oh, gas cap. And assorted other parts also, if you need to completely rebuild your engine. We can hone it. That's fun. And then we have spares because we have upgraded parts and kept old parts in case, like we have spare boots for the CVs, we have 2 spare CVs, we have a spare coil, we have a whole bag of spare sensors from the other 2 engines that we've broken, and I've kept the sensors just in case.
Third time lucky.
Third time lucky. We have a spare timing belt, a spare tensioner off the same engine. We have a spare fuel pump, a spare coil pack. So half a spare engine, in fact, in this box. And fortunately, we don't actually have to go in it that often. But that's the spares that we now carry.
Okay.
And finally, we have the unfinished project box. So
this is kind of specific to us.
it has tools in it as well. It has sandpaper. It has many, many, many tubes of Sikaflex because it's possibly the best thing that's ever been made, and I love it. And I'm going to stick everything together with it. Oh, it has a couple of tools. We bought some recent tools. We have a Dremel.
I think that's going to be so useful.
I mean, it's already got its money's worth, hasn't it? When we cut up our Starlink, we used the Dremel to do it, so that was great. So we have probably not a vital, but I love it. Another thing we had to buy really was this. If you plan to rewire your entire car while driving around, then you'll probably want some tools to do that. Again, can't say everybody needs one, but we certainly got our use out of it. And then in here we have stuff like paint filler, varnish for the worktop, treatment for the pop top canvas. We have thinners. We have a few spare electrical bits like some cables and heat shrink and that kind of thing. And then we also have a whole, like 2 of these that are also just full of bolts, because you never know what size bolt's going to break.
All of them.
Yes. And as a final treat in the box, we have these.
SpongeBob.
Much loved SpongeBob, now downgraded for Osmo varnish application. And that really is most of the stuff. I think the only thing I haven't mentioned is, jump cables.
Very useful on the road, although we only used them for what?
Other people. We have never needed these because we have an inbuilt jumper system. So we just flick a switch and our starter connects to our leisure batteries. The thing we've used these for is testing, if you need to like bypass a wire or test something, and we have saved quite a few people, haven't we?
Yes. Pause it.
Final 2 things are, we bought walkie-talkies, which are good if you, firstly when we fly the drone, and secondly when you have to go down a really sketchy road. One of us walks ahead and then the other one can say, oh yes, you can come. No, don't go down here, it's a death trap.
So this is damage limitation, not damage repair.
Yeah, this is like try to prevent the broken things. We got these fairly recently and actually they've been pretty good, quite useful, especially here when some things are rather questionable in terms of roads and so on. So yeah, I like them. And finally, my favourite toy of the day is this.
It's Diddy, what is it?
It is a tyre inflator, and I was a bit dubious about buying it because it just looks like it's going to be really bad. But actually, it's really done quite well so far. It does our huge tyres fine. It did it this morning. And we can do our air suspension because there's no... We used to have one that plugged in, but then it doesn't reach the rear air suspension connector. And it pressurises the roof shower, which means you get a pressurised shower. So actually really in love with this thing. I think it's brilliant and it's tiny. So whatever you have, you've got to have some kind of tyre inflator, right? I'm sure we've forgotten stuff. I'm sure there's other remnants of tools lurking. But on the whole, this is what we have. So that's everything. I hope it's useful if you're planning a big trip or if you travel in a VW and you wonder what you might need, then you have an idea of kind of the minimum to the maximum And if you have any questions about anything I skimmed over or didn't mention, then drop us a comment. And apart from that, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. That was like advanced mode, but I reckon on a day-to-day basis. Your duct tape and your cable and look. Look at that. I'm easily amused, but you know, that's all you need really, isn't it?